Just Riffin. Tuesday afternoon at 2 p.m. That's EST. Just Riffin. Special guest and tech and talk. A musicology. Just Riffin. Coming to you live at the same time. Here every week. Just Riffin. Jump in the room. Let's chop it up. It really ain't that deep. Just Riffin.
What's up, everybody? It's another Tuesday, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is Just Riffin, powered by Rug Radio. I'm one of your hosts, Hefner. I got Cookie Rabinowitz in the building with me today. Per usual, got an awesome guest from the Chimpers. Insight is going to be joining us today. I'm excited to talk to him about their project, what's going on, the past, the present, and the future of what's happening with the Chimpers. So welcome, everybody, to Just Riffin. We do this every Tuesday, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we're streaming on Abstract, YouTube, Kick, and X as well, which reminds me I have to start our Abstract stream. Cookie, how you feeling today? What's going on with you? How was your week? I know you've been busy working on music and whatnot.
Pretty good. First off, I just want to double check you can hear me because I was kind of haphazardly plugging stuff in.
Yeah, you're
great,
good.
Great. So yeah, I had a really good week. I've been working on some music, and actually right before the show, I woke up today and I was on the phone with Chris Schwartz, and I just got him to confirm a date with us. So we're going to have him back on the show. We're going to do it live from his studio where he's showing us these guitars and instrument he's building too, as well as talking about all the cool music stuff and albums he's putting out.
Well, that's awesome. Let's tell everybody a little bit about Chris, and then we'll get into what's going on for today. I'm excited because we had Chris Schwartz on. It was almost a year ago. A few months back, that we had him on the show. I actually did the show in Thailand, and we were only doing spaces at that time. So now we're on video. Going to be awesome to talk to him. This is a guy that's behind Rough House Records, where his partner was Joe Nicola Butcher. Cypress Hill, Lauryn Hill, Fugees, you name it. Crisscross. The list goes on and on and on. Work with big people in the industry, and excited to get him back on the show. See what he's been up to over the past year, and hear what's happening with him.
For sure. I just want to comment on that too. When we did the show with him the last time, you were all the way in. Were you in Thailand? Is that where
I was in Thailand? That's exactly right. That's what I just said. I was like in Thailand when we did it. We were only on Spaces. I think we weren't on video yet. Yeah. And so I'm excited to. I was doing the interview from my hotel room, bro.
Yeah.
So,
Did you throw any TVs out the window while you were in there?
No. I threw a couple. I threw a couple Thai girls though. I tossed them off the balcony into the pool. Oh no. That's how we do it. Yeah. Okay. Almost like midget tossing, but not. Yeah.
Did the pool have any liquidity?
A lot of liquidity. There was so much money in that pool. It was insane. Insane, sir. So tell me about I'm excited because I know you've been working on music. I myself too have been working on music, and I figured something out on my own. Like I didn't use YouTube or ChatGPT for this one. I was trying to contact you, but you were in your music mode too, and which I get. So I understand not getting on the phone. And it was something to do with Ableton on the clips that I had made. They were on tab A, and I needed to get him into tab B, which was the studio, right from the studio to the timeline. Mm-hmm. And I didn't know how to do it, so I copied and pasted. I was like, oh, and now I'm dragging things around so I can arrange the idea that I had, because usually I'll start the music with an idea and I'll start making a bunch of stuff, and I'll do like maybe 8 or 16 bars and just loop that, so I have sort of like what I want, what I hear, and I'll layer everything together, and then I start separating and arranging and moving things around. So I go, oh yeah, this needs to go here, or a fill needs to go here, yada yada. So, but yeah, I figured that part out on my own. But I want to know about you, because I know you're close to completion, right? You're close to completing your project.
I push things way back. Like, thank God I'm not like a Web3 project, because if I would have, it's so far past the date I thought it was going to happen. Like, everybody would have thought I rugged by now, but it's not. It's a music project. And some musicians, not all of them, but some musicians are a little flaky, and maybe I'm one of them. But on the Ableton thing, I want to rewind to that for a second. I love that because that's what's so much fun about playing in Ableton, that clips mode, and the you can copy and paste stuff. But another thing you can do is you can just play the clips in real time, but press the record on the transport, and it'll actually lay them out.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Play it.
You need to give me a lesson. I'm gonna see if I can pull it. I'm gonna pull it up and see if I can.
Hey, Hef, you know what we should do? I'm just kidding. I'm going to preface this saying with you, I'm just kidding. But what we should do is do a live pumped out fun stream of us doing this. Of us streaming it. I'm just kidding. But it's pretty wild. Have you seen any of that stuff that's happening?
No, I haven't. Please tell me about it. I remember it going down like when it first started and it was a thing. And then I don't know, because I'm not really in there. I don't watch, you know?
I love it. And I want to say this. Working in Ableton, on my days that I don't have to go work at the club, it's so much fun, because sometimes social media can be a distraction, you know, keep you from work.
Yeah.
But I like to work on music. Are you familiar with the Pomodoro method?
No.
So basically, like,
I know what a Pomodoro is. I know what that is.
If practicing music or even writing songs, doing anything, when you do it for a set amount of time, I'll be really quick with this. I don't want to go on a long thing. But when you do it, you get less efficient at it the longer you're doing it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's good to do it in short bursts and then do something wildly different. So when you're in front of a computer doing Ableton, like I keep my phone away, because that's what'll get me in trouble on the Time Wasters Club if I have my phone in my hand. So I keep my phone away. I put the calls off, but I do have my chat window of my phone. It's linked to my laptop, and I'll respond to texts.
Yeah.
You know, but like what I'll do is I'll be deep in like music mode. And then when I feel like I'm stuck, instead of trying to beat it, what I'll do is I'll work like maybe 20 minutes to a half hour. And this is the Pomodoro method. Then I'll totally stop working on music and I might do like drop and do a few push-ups, or I'll just open up Twitter, or I'll open up and I'll see, maybe I'll check out what's happening. Like maybe I'll check the recaps of what was happening on FOMO Hour, and they were talking about Pump Fun. So then I'll go to Pump Fun and see what was happening. And obviously, you know, we really have to be careful to spend our time wisely. All of us, you know, we're all,
sure.
Everybody has a very busy life, but I find that this is actually helps my music, because I'll poke my head around in some things for a few minutes, but then jump back to the music. And then now all of a sudden I'm totally fresh again. Like, oh, and I got these ideas that I think are good. And where if I just keep grinding through for hours and hours, my efficiency goes down and down the longer I work. But
sure.
taking little breaks. But anyway, that's that. I'm sorry.
No, that's important. I mean, this is right. You know, otherwise you'll get like you said, you're going to get stagnant. You're going to maybe get writer's block or player's block or whatever. You need to take a break. You need to go take a walk outside. You know, if you're into cigarettes, do your thing. You're into anything else, do your thing. Come back refreshed and push forward. I wanted to play this. I want to play this to everybody. This is like an exclusive. So, and this is a work in progress. This is a song that I made such a long time ago. And it was just a kind of, like I said, like an idea. And so I'm going to play it because this is, I think I saved it, and I think I arranged this a little bit. Can you hear that?
I can't hear Hef. Let me just double check. No, it's weird because, maybe it is playing though. No, I don't think so. It's not playing.
Let me remove it and put us down for a second. And let me just check something really quick, because it could be just like the audio settings. You know how it is with Ableton, you have to set the audio. And I thought I had set it for the Roadcaster. I'll try one more thing. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. It's no stress. And
we'll have to figure that out for future shows though, because that's really cool.
Yeah. Because I would love to share this with everybody. I think people would enjoy this. People that love music and that, you know, maybe work in Ableton. Tell me if you could hear any of this. Oh, now it's not coming out. It was coming out before. So I don't know. I'm gonna play a little bit of it, and then maybe people in the audience can tell me. Yeah.
Try your master out at the bottom. It's just a long shot, but maybe try dropping it down to see if there's another output down there where it says 1 and 2. It probably isn't going to work, but it's worth a try since it's already up.
You're talking about here?
Like, you know, on if you click back to the other scene.
You're
right. Where it says Q out.
Yeah. All right, hold on. I hear it coming through. So if you don't hear that, I don't know. If you're in the chat, give me a thumbs up if you hear this. Do you not hear it, Cookie?
I do not hear it, but I think one of two things. Either A, if you go down to that queue out thing, or B, if you look
We'll
in
do it
your,
another time. I don't want to do it now because. So
gotcha,
you don't
yeah.
hear any of this? You don't hear
We'll
any of
figure
the
it out,
music?
though.
I hear it.
Let's, it's nothing's coming through. We'll figure it out though.
Okay. No worries. Then I just pulled it down and I'm going to stop it on my end. And we're going to get into our show. We're going to bring our guest up. Let me just quit that. And let me bring this back up because I wanted to share also their website as well at some point when we get into it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, everybody that's listening out there in, I don't know, I can't even speak. Yeah, everybody out there that's watching. Thank you for tuning in. This is Just Riffin. We do it every Tuesday, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, powered by Rug Radio. Today, we have an awesome guest. I'm super excited. I've known about this brand and this NFT project for a really long time, and happy that we're able to speak with Insight today from the Chimpers. And I want to thank also Tyler Durdith for making the introduction. And everybody, welcome to the stage, Insight from the Chimpers. What's happening, bud? How you doing, Insight?
Yeah, good. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate the intro and enjoyed your chat actually as well.
Thank you.
So
So
yeah, it's yeah, good to be here.
most definitely. All right, so tell us a little bit about, we're going to get into the Chimpers, but like for you, what brought you to the Chimpers? What was it? How did you get involved?
Yeah, so it's a family story in that, like, Chimpers, who's the artist and founder of the project, is my twin brother. So he joined the space in early 2021. He is an artist, a pixel artist that originally came from the sort of esports gaming scene. He had a YouTube channel with 40,000 subscribers where he taught people Photoshop. And that's what he was spending his time doing throughout our sort of college, university days. And, was very much a community builder and an artist, and naturally fell into the NFT space in early 2021. And at that time, we had both graduated from university in that same year, and I was looking for graduate roles in English language, and we was both on two separate paths. He was sort of pursuing this sort of new Web3 world, and being, a twin brother, like, we've always been very good friends, very close relationship. So I always spend time learning what he's up to and supporting whatever he's doing. So with him joining the space and, the auctions that he was having on Foundation and, collectors minting them for, several ETH, it was just ridiculous for us both to sort of comprehend. And that really piqued my curiosity. I made a Twitter account for the first time, and sort of just to observe what he was up to, really, and figure out what it was all about. And I naturally, as being an English language graduate, I thought, well, why not sort of put my skills to the test and create a Substack newsletter. There was quite a few really great writers that I looked up to when I first joined the space, including Zeneca, Andrew Wang, and a couple of others. And I thought, well, why not start writing about NFTs? Interview creators, interview artists, interview project founders. And I started to build up a following and presence early on. And I think just us both being in the space at that time, we naturally sort of started to do stuff more and more together, Chimpers and I. And yeah, that was sort of how I got into the space, purely through him introducing me via what he was up to.
Yeah, were you like, okay, so I know it's your twin, right? So usually, you guys, they say twins are thinking alike and stuff, and it's interesting that you're we're going in a different direction than your brother, which is awesome to hear that you guys you guys are separate, even though you guys are twins. But were you like many others at the time when you were getting into the NFT space and understanding what was going on? Were you also skeptical of like the whole what it was, or were you all in because you were backing your brother, you were just taking his word?
Yeah, I mean, I think just being around him and seeing the sort of journey in which he was like taking and sort of connecting with artists, creating artworks and have people collecting them. For me, I just thought it was a really fun and exciting thing. I didn't have any skepticism around it. Of course,
Sure.
like during that euphoria of 2021, as I got deeper into the space, it became apparent that there was a lot of negative stigma and a lot
Yeah.
of, even like amongst
Bad
our
actors.
friend circles, like, friend groups and people online, you started to see that because they wasn't in that space, they just sort of had that mainstream sort of perception of NFTs being, bad for the environment and, the blockchain being, something negative. So I didn't get that because right away I was just immersed in the space. But the people around me, when they sort of, learned about Timpers, all of his friends and all of our friends were, followers of his account on Twitter because he had built a YouTube following. He was like a creator. So people started to see that when he joined the space, that was what he was up to. And of course, like there were questions like, I'm sure people unfollowed him. I'm sure people from the gaming and esports and art scene, didn't like that very much. But there was a lot of curiosity as well. So yeah, for me personally, I was just very interested and, excited to see the success that he was having.
That's awesome. And then were you like hip to, I know he's your brother and you're supporting, obviously, so, but were you hip to what he was doing with the Chimpers, the concept and idea behind it? And was it in the beginning, was it just the art, or did he tell you, hey, I got this whole lore and this whole concept behind this art?
Yeah. So it was a sort of step-by-step journey in that obviously Chimpers came in May of 2022, but prior to that, there was a whole sort of journey in itself. And, initially he came into the space creating, one-of-one artworks that were pixel art, all inspired in his sort of staple style. And then he sort of started to immerse himself in communities. So he minted different collections like the Bored Apes and the Forgotten Room Wizards, and various other collections that came about during that time. And at that point, he was building a reputation for himself. So, he had the opportunity to work on the Nounsdow collection because Punk4156 put out a tweet saying, does anybody know of any pixel artists? And he got a really big vouch from the Web3 community to sort of help with that. So then he joined Gremplin and eBoy to work on that sort of iconic collection. And he was just sort of getting sort of immersed in the whole world of like Web3 and NFTs. But his main digital identity with the Bored Apes, that was his PFP. That's the community that he rocked with and one that he felt strongly about. So he created this artwork series. After creating, these artworks, working for other projects on various things, he created this artwork series that was like a passion project. It was a homage artwork around the Bored Apes where he depicted, community NFTs and his artwork. And it got a really great reception from the community. It was, at that time, not many people had really done that. Like there wasn't a whole lot of storytelling. There wasn't a whole lot of sort of community building on that sort of level. So he decided he'd make it a full-blown artwork series. And that's where I sort of came into the picture, because obviously at that point I was following through the whole way, and I said I would help with the story and the community building because that's something that I was passionate about. And it sort of started to just gel together. And this sort of preliminary community building adventure around the Bored Apes, which was a derivative artwork series. It wasn't our own sort of IP, but it was the first sort of building block to us getting a sense of how to build community, building the sort of story and sort of setting the stage for what would come next, which, there was a real hunger and desire after that artwork series ended from the community that we'd built to see Timpers create his own IP, his own collection. There was a lot of speculation about when that might be and what it would be. So yeah, that's the sort of journey that led to our sort of collection today.
And in comes the Chimpers, right? So the artwork is there, but then it could have been just a still image, right? It could have been, but now it's moving. It's got animation. There's life to it. I go to the Chimpers website and I feel like a kid again, right? I'm looking at this whole thing and I'm like, wow, what is going on here? So tell us about this, how this came about. What, where it was like still in the beginning, where there talks about it being animation. Was it going to be animated from the get-go? And then the gaming and there's so much that's like brain power behind just the art. Yeah, that I'm interested in. I really would like to know how this whole thing came to that way.
Yeah, I mean, when we created the Bored Ape Chronicles artwork series, it was a very tight-knit, small community, 100 editions per artwork, and we did our very best to make it really stand out, exciting experience that, was at the time quite, unique in that, artist collectors didn't really have that sort of experience where there's, a whole load of gamification, storytelling, and rewards and prizes. And we obviously built that community like for a year and had the luxury of being able to observe what other collections, like other legacy collections in 2021 had done and how they'd approached sort of community building. And we just realized that, for something to be lasting and for something to, stick around for as long as it has done, there needs to be real depth, there needs to be story. And our main goal in that first year of launching Chimpers was to really build out the foundation of, what is the Chimpers world? It's this, anime inspired, dojo centric, sort of nostalgic Chimpverse that is, encompassed by dojo students that practice under Sensei Master Chimpo, and they head out on adventures and quests, and it's that sort of foundation allowed us to just get really creative around like, well, what else could we do with this? And obviously at first it was just art, but for it to be lasting and have depth, like I said, there had to be a whole lot more. And that's where we sort of said at the very beginning, we wanted to see Chimpers become like this multimedia brand and sort of dip our toes into gaming and experiences and community building. And that was really the sort of first year that we spent with Chimpers. It was establishing that foundation and building a real core sort of community. And it was definitely an interesting time because obviously at that point in May 2022, the bear market had just started to ensue. And I think there was a few collections that had like the sort of last hurrah in terms of, getting that hype and attention, Goblin Town, Wreck Guy, Chimpers. And, after that, it was a real sort of just heads down.
A lot of people got let down. There was so many bad actors, so many projects that came out. Everyone thought, okay, I'm going to buy. It's going to go up. I'm going to sell and make a lot of money. I don't think that people were understanding, really the concept or whatever it was that was going on behind it. It was the Wild West. It still is a little bit like this, the Wild West. But I think that you hit the nail on the head saying that you had to put something behind it. You couldn't just have it as a JPEG. Some even with Wreck Guy, right? Wreck Guy has a drink now, Wreck brand. It's like, they're constantly building. Same with Rug Radio. That wasn't just a NFT. Now we've got to build a company. Let's take the ideas and let's make it. I think that's awesome that you guys did that. It takes a lot of like balls to do that actually, because it could easily fail. People could just be like, nah, this is just another NFT project. But I think you guys put a lot of thought, and there's a lot of, like I said, brain power, a lot of money, a lot of community people, time get in your project. I think that's great that you guys still have that. I want to pass the mic to Cookie because I'm sure he's got some questions as well.
Well, first off, yeah, I mean, we're so glad to have you on the show. And Timpers, such cool pixel art. You know, I remember he did the artwork for Degens. It was cool, the
Yeah.
Degens thing, and I just thought it was so cool. And I love the idea of the dojo. You know, it's funny. I have a little tab on my computer. I call it the dojo, and it's just where I put all my things that I work on, my little life things and music things. I just think it's a great way to look at things, and I think it's killer the way you guys are really reaching out. Well, just recently, just through this conversation, I'm aware that you got that Timpers had kind of a community pre the Web3 world, and what you were discussing with him with by saying that some people obviously got put off by the whole Web3 thing, and like what Hef was saying as well. And you guys seem to be killing it in the Web2 world right now, and as well as well respected in this space. But do you ever see do you see in the short term or midterm people not having this bad stigma about the technology? Because that's really what it is. I mean, you guys are building something really cool, and you're using the technology for a good purpose, a good use case of it. So do you think these normies, so to speak, will ever lose that bad feeling they have about the space?
Yeah, it's a really difficult one, because I think like first and foremost, like the way the sort of Web3 and NFTs have been like applied to like mainstream audiences haven't necessarily been like the best onboarding experiences, and haven't really been sort of so successful like in the past few years. You know, there's been many examples of which, you know, things haven't really clicked. And I think the stigma is a tough one, because I think with art and sort of tech, there's such a tight-knit group of people that, you know, care passionately about it. And I think when something new comes around, like, it's always met with like skepticism. But for us, like, I think character, IP, and entertainment experiences are the ways in which you can sort of win the hearts and minds of just the ordinary people. And I think that's what we've been very much like focused on. It's, well, you know, this, you know, first year that we built Chimpers was very much establishing our Web3 presence and establishing that core community and culture that, you know, to this day is still very strong. But for us to really, you know, be discovered by people outside of this Web3 bubble, there needs to be something that they can relate to, something that they have resonance with. And, you know, with the story and world that we created, we set up our social media accounts and, you know, decided that if we want to meet the audiences where they're at, we need to, you know, use the mediums that they're sort of surfing on every single day. So, you know, we created this cast of characters, Chimpy, Master Chimpo, and all of these cute, kawaii, mainstream appealing cast of characters that we felt would, you know, through our sort of story and content, could really relate to people and meet them where they're at. So that's what we've been really focused on. It's been about, at the high level, like the brand and the story and the message, and you know, everything sort of tech wise. And you know, NFT has sort of been under the hood and under the sort of skin of what we're trying to do, because I think, you know, that's what people relate to, and that's what's going to like be effective in, you know, building brands that people know and love. It's the message that they can relate to. So we, you know, I do strongly believe like it will work. And there's been many sort of examples. I think, you know, Rect and Pudgy Penguins and, you know, many others who are Claynosaurs, who are, you know, building IPs that you know, can really be loved by, you know, just not just a small bubble, but a really wide net of people, is how we can sort of really penetrate that sort of tech. And, you know, we've done it in ways now where, you know, we've been very much focused on like the fandom, but as we've sort of been growing our content channels, we've, you know, been at entertainment trade expos like the licensing expo. we're, you know, having these collaborations with mainstream brands like Kung Fu Tea Boba and Molang. And, you know, now we're, you know, creating physical products whereby we recently just had a blind box series of plush keychains, and those sold out very quickly.
Yeah, those are like a hot thing, right? Like I don't know what those other ones are that they did those like kind of things, and they took off like crazy, and they're selling for hundreds or even thousands of dollars, right? So these type of concepts, these type of things where you're continuously building, you know, this is what excites me as a consumer. This is what I want to see. I don't want to see anything stagnant. I don't want to see a company that's, oh, you built something and then you just sat there, you know. It's like, you know, imagine if Tesla just built one car and it was one car forever. People would be like, oh, whatever, I'm moving to the next. I think this is a great concept. Didn't mean to cut you there. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, I think like and the significance of those blind boxes as well is that, you know, the keychains, you'll be able to tap those with your phone, and you'll be able to enter this Chimpers portal where you can, you know, see our social media, but you can also redeem a collectible card on our card app, which you can then rip open and get an on-chain collectible. So, you know, we're pushing these blind boxes that sold out, and we'll be, you know, entering like physical channels, specialty channels in the real world. People will be able to tap those and actually get, you know, their first taster of, you know, an on-chain collectible that, you know, is actually presented to them in a real easy way to understand. And like you said, though, you know, that wasn't, you know, from the get-go something that we thought we would be doing. And I think you know, you touched on it, like you can't just create one thing and leave it. I think the successful brands that have, you know, been able to maintain relevancy in Web3 have evolved and have shaped to expand beyond what was just the original concept, which in the early days was just very much community and culture and vibes. And that's still key. It's, you know, it's a driving factor of why people join NFT communities, but there has to be something more tangible, and there needs to be a clear North Star whereby, you know, people are joining a community that they can see being around for the long term, and that is having real world impacts, and, you know, being a force for good, in that we're pushing Web3 IP forwards and actually reaching real world people. And I think, you know, that sort of mission is, you know, a really important one. And I think all the brands that are, you know, still here today are in their own lane and trying to do it in different ways, but there's that common sort of goal that everybody is trying to you know, expand outwards and to really sort of onboard people into Web3 in fun and exciting ways.
Yeah, 100%. Sure. I didn't mean to cut you real quick. I wanted to say something. This is to me, it's, you guys are just building a business. Forget about Web 2, forget about Web 3. This is life. I got to breathe the air. You're breathing the air too. I cut myself, I bleed. You do the same thing. This is just a business. You guys are just using specific technology that most of the world is not using. So it gives you guys and anybody else that's building in what we call Web 3 an upper hand, you know, because you're already moving forward with the technology, where companies that are still not using that technology will eventually have to use it. They'll be forced to use it because that's what it's going to be. That's the norm that it's going to be. And I think it's great that you guys took this technology, or taking this technology, building with it, evolving, growing, moving forward. And to me, that's something, like I said before, 100% I stand behind. I will get behind any company that's continuously going to build, grow, evolve, whatever you want to say, and just keep moving forward into the future with the technology, with the tools that are at your fingertips. So I give you guys praise. Thank you so much. Cookie, go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you there when you started talking.
Oh, good. You know, I was just listening to you talk about how the earlier on it was about the vibes and stuff. And I was watching you guys from early on, and it was, the vibes were there. You created the cool art, and then you expanded on it. There was some gamification there. And you guys have been, as you discussed, kind of building, and your projects has been expanding exponentially, like the longer you guys have been around. And what I want to ask you is, so you're a writer and your brother's an artist. The scope of this project keeps getting bigger and bigger. How do you guys, between the two of you, manage it? Whether it's developers, do you have friends, you know, that code, that dev, you know, whatever, merchandising? Like, how hard was it to get all that together? And also, as it scopes out, it just seems like such a big, a big scope.
Yeah, I mean, at the very beginning, it was very much small, tight-knit team, and we still are, like, to a certain degree, but we've been able to outsource and partner with, experienced teams that sort of fill that sort of missing jigsaw piece to where we want to get to. And, like, of course, like, we have our creative team, like Timpers, but also, we've always leaned into the community in like various ways. And I think that's the special thing about Web3 and NFT communities, is that you can really lean into that as a superpower and a key unlock, because, right away from the beginning, we've always worked with artists and creators to help bring the Chimpers brand to life. And funnily enough, our social media artists that have, contributed to the huge, enormous growth that we're having, with millions of followers, millions of impressions every month. Those two artists and illustrators are actually Chimpers NFT holders that originally were just creating fan art for the project and the community. And we brought them on to help us bring that sort of content stream to life. And they've, been at that with us for the last 2 years, and, really contributing to the huge growth there. And, as a result, the brand has just continued to unlock more doors. And, we partnered with a licensing team who are based out in the US, who have, entertainment experience at Warner and Disney, and they're from the entertainment space. So they know how to, help us build the brand blocks to be able to, enter trade shows and, begin those licensing conversations. And, just recently with our blind box series, we was able to sign a licensing deal with J Corp, who are one of the biggest and global manufacturers and distributors for products in the US, and work with, a lot of legacy IPs like Disney and Marvel. And they're helping us to build out our sort of physical product pipeline and helping us enter, distribution.
Did you guys now, are these connections that you made from going to the trade shows, or did you get introduced to somebody? Did somebody in our space connect you with somebody? You know what I mean? How did you make those connections there? Those relationships?
So we actually made our first sort of licensing. Our licensing team, Playwell, were first introduced to us just via our own sort of outreach and research. But like subsequently, our presence at trade shows, like we've exhibited at the Vegas Licensing Expo, 2 years back to back with them. And obviously, the whole sort of approach there at that show is like, it's a business to business show where we take in meetings. And we were fortunate to speak to J Corp there, who then, we signed with last year. And, it's sort of in that space, like as I've sort of learned more and more, being involved in it the past few years, it's very, relationship based. And, the more that we're sort of building those blocks, like we're opening up more doors. And of course, like the content proliferation that we're having now is just adding fuel to the fire, because, more and more people who have, seen us plant our flag in the ground 2 years ago at that very first expo are now seeing the sort of ingredients adding over the top. We've hit 1 million followers on Instagram and TikTok. We've partnered with Kung Fu Tea, where we just sold out our first blind box series, and then we were just featured on French national news randomly out of the blue, a French national news channel.
Fun.
Yeah, it was like completely and that completely random, and that sort of earned media where it just sort of goes to show like that this process, like over the past 2 years, has been a real sort of brick by brick approach. And it's not been like now we're sort of speaking on the timeline at the sort of social success we're having, but it's been a real grind. And it's sort of just a move of compounding effects that I think is now sort of just this flywheel is continuing to go. But it's I think the outreach and connections that we make is part of that sort of being present and being in those conversations, and then the sort of
That's awesome.
network effect sort of just continues to grow.
That's great. First of all, your holders, people that have invested in Chimpers itself, should be super excited to hear that if they haven't heard that before. Those relationships, they go a long way, and as long as you can keep that bond with those people, and they're still working at those companies, obviously, Chimpers has a long life ahead of them to go. There's so many things that could be done. I'm sure you guys have thought about an animated series, cartoon series, little plushies. My big thing that I want to know about is, like, a lot of companies where I see them fail, they'll build up, but then they get greedy, right? And then they'll launch a token. Where's Chimpers with a token? Are you guys thinking about a token? Is this something that's on the radar?
Yeah, so it's like I think a part of like the Chimpers DNA and the way that we've always operated has been that we've been very intentional and very careful with the sort of steps to, one, community building, but also the way in which we expand the community. And we've never thus far released a second membership collection. There's 5,555 Chimpers. There's 100 one-of-one Genesis Chimpers, which are the superheroes of our world that handcrafted by Chimpers. And on top of that, we've built sort of low barrier to entry ways to get on board into the community. We have a collectible card app with 12,000 signed up users, where we've had different releases across different chains, pack ripping experiences where people can get into the Chimpers world and sort of build their way up.
Are they real packs, like physical packs, or digital?
These are digital. So, you sign up with email, it creates a wallet for you. And we've had various drops on Base, on Ape Chain, on Abstract.
Fun.
Where, it's a digital collectible experience where you rip packs, you can, redeem prizes. And there's been, all sorts, like arcade machines, merch, NFTs and such. And it's been a fun way for us to expand our sort of on-chain presence and our community footprint without having to, dilute or to, sort of enter a different, collection where we, having to build, a community. And that's been a sort of double-edged sword for a lot of projects, and has, in some cases led to, for so many such cases, it's led to, this the sort of essence of the brand has, become too, it's been too diluted, or it's spread too far, and it's hard to, serve the core community members, because realistically, there's just too many people, and too much supply and not enough people. So, and we sort of applied that same thinking when it comes to a token as well. Like there's, many great examples of specific use cases where, in the Rect case, for instance, that's, really novel approach, and Pudgy Penguins, being the face of crypto, it makes perfect sense. But I think that, a token in this sort of environment, it's still very much a bubble, in the the Web3 space is very, very small, and for it to just be a sort of hot potato between people, and there not being sort of real use cases or syncs, and it's just going to be another sort of meme coin, it doesn't make sense. And I don't see the value add at this very point in time. But there is definitely ways that a token can add value to expanding the community, but there has to be real sort of use case for it to make sense. And it's a very delicate process, and one that we would never rush into without having a real sort of confident and exciting use case to be able to do that. So I mean, for us, we've looked outwards. I mean, that's why we've been heavily focused on growing the brand, and something that we know will for the long term, building that real fandom, having real true fans that are beyond Web3, that can continually sustain the life of what we're building. It is really important to us. And we think that in the future we can lean into those sorts of onboarding events that are the sort of token route, or second collection for such. But right now it's one of those sort of environments where it's just the same group of people at the sort of end of the day, and it's just a constant battle between the small number of projects that are trying to vie for that attention and liquidity, and at the end of the day, I think everybody is on that mission to onboard more people and find ways to onboard them. And I think for us, that's just a key focus, to continually build in that brand equity. And as a result, there's more attention, more excitement around Chimpers. And I think it's also a real sort of superpower that we've been able to get this far without having to lean into those sort of onboarding events, which typically has been one of the drivers to maintain relevancy and maintain the sort of community over time. And with us not having done that and been able to organically through a real grassroots way maintain that culture and maintain that community, I think it's just a testament to how strong the Chimpers community has continued
which
to
is
grow.
really strong. Yeah, you guys are like the Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, I mean, people knock us down, but we just get back up.
Old analogy there.
Yeah.
So awesome. I think that's great that you guys are not, launching this token and utilize, just because it's there, and that, that's just, I think it's great that you guys are building and just continue to build. If that token becomes relevant at some particular juncture in time, then so be it. That'll be great. But you guys aren't here for the money. You guys are definitely building. So yeah, just mad props to you guys. I'm loving everything that I'm hearing, actually, and I think it's great that you guys are taking this approach. Then to fuck it all up now, right?
Yeah, it's one of those things. It can be an end all sort of moment for like any like collection, and we've seen it like time and time again. And if there isn't a real use case, like it's one of those things that you just have to be very delicate about. And yeah, for us, like we've continually we haven't like feeded into speculation. We haven't had significant hype moments. For us, it's been all about organic compounding moments, with these sort of real brand milestones that we continue to have. And for us, it's never been like a one side versus the other. Like we've been very balanced in that the community are involved in this at every step of the way, and that sort of real grassroots effort to involve them in Giphy and in the sort of social reels that we do, and having them co-create with us. I think that's the sort of reason why people get excited about brands. And I think for us, we've always placed a large emphasis on community building and being present all the time, and just the small things that matter. And I think those things have helped us as well to continue to build that. And I think now people are starting to pay attention. I think as the space has matured and evolved, and as we said, like things have come and gone a million miles an hour over the past few years, but now people are starting to look to those sort of real tangible use cases of brand building and real milestones of success that are helping to push Web3 forwards. And Chimpers is becoming a real demonstrator of that. So people are starting to pay attention to the teams that have real commitment to doing that. So I hope and
you guys are still here. Yeah 100%.
Very cool. I wonder, we're talking about tokens and community and Web2, and I like the numbers you guys are doing on Instagram and TikTok, for instance. I mean, it's like over 1 million. You guys have over 1 million followers. It's amazing. And first off, I did a two-part question. I was wondering, because of the nature of the IP, do you notice certain regions are more receptive to the brand than other? I'm just curious out of.
Yeah, it's actually really interesting. I think like with our content, like for one, like it's been an evolution in that respect. Even on like the content side, what we did 2 years ago is different to what we're doing now. But the main sort of emphasis has been to make people smile and to really resonate with this sort of digital age. And we've sort of pioneered a sort of interactive, gamified content style where people are actually interacting with the reels and placing their finger and sort of reenacting the sort of content and story and being involved in it. And that has contributed a large amount to the virality of what we've been seeing over the past few months. But in terms of like the demographic, it is very much like female like driven, like maybe almost over half. But in terms of like geographic locations, it's the US is one of the biggest viewers of our content on both TikTok and Instagram and Facebook. But with Chimpers and the content that we put out, it sort of breaks down language barriers because there isn't verbal spoken speech within our content, and it's very much like a universal content that anybody can understand, even if they don't know English. So we're reaching, Indonesia, we're reaching Thailand, we're reaching Eastern European countries, Brazil. So it's global, and people are able to really fall in love with the mascot and character that is Chimpy, which is the main character on all of our content. And we're starting to layer in more characters and deeper story. But yeah, it truly is like a global sort of fandom, and that's the really exciting part of it, is that Chimpers is reaching everywhere. And you can go in the comment sections of our videos and it'll be a whole array of different languages and different people. And I think that sort of discovery is something that not many Web3 brands are able to garner, and one that we've just been really excited to lean into. But like primarily, like all of our activations thus far has been centered in the US. So our Kung Fu Tea Boba National Boba Day campaign with them, there was a t-shirt sale, and there was a content collab with them that was in the US. And that's where our licensing team is. So that's where we're sort of expanding into with our physical products as well. So it's sort of a step-by-step journey, but like the more that we're growing, featuring on the French national news channel as well, and it's not even a primary sort of channel that we sort of place emphasis on. It's just Chimpers is reaching everywhere, and it's something that we can't control anymore. It's just
in a good way, though, right?
In a good way. It's something that is just spiraling, and people are recognizing Chimpy and Chimpers like almost everywhere.
They're recognizing the hard work. You guys put a lot of hard work into getting to this particular point, right? And so that's proof for anybody watching. If you got a thought, an idea, keep building on it. Don't stop, because Insight just said it. It's starting to really, really go, and it's out of their control. It's going to take a life. It's going to take on a life of its own, pretty much. And I think this is just because you guys have really, really put the time in. You've been building, and it's not that you've just been building anything. You've been building stuff towards where you are and where you want to go. So, yeah, again, good stuff you guys are doing.
It's definitely appreciated, and it's of course it's not like it's not been a journey of just complete success and highs. Like, of course, we've had to weather the bear market. We've had to weather the sort of
a lot of blood, a lot of sweat.
Yeah, like the lowest of lows in the community during that bear market. This attention is so fragmented, and when
how did you guys approach that when it got to that? Because you're building, you're on this high, then all of a sudden the bears are out, and you, like you said, bear market, and it's like that's what it is. How do you get through that discouragement, that or possible discouragement? Like how'd you guys continue to keep pushing forward? What was your thought process during that time? Glad you guys didn't give up too.
Yeah, I mean, for us, we've always just been so determined and had, a clear vision of like where Chimpers could get to, and all that we needed was time. And for us to be able to translate that to the community at a time where NFTs were at an all-time low and where attention was fragmented, people were chasing meme coins, collections were, kicking the boot in and sort of leaving the space. And I think there was a lot of disillusionment at that time, like during that 2024 period. And I think for us, the way that we sort of approached it was just to be hyper present, just be within the community, having those spaces, really showing the work that's being put in. And of course, like when, space is very like hyper financialized and that's not translating into value, and, people sort of don't see that bigger vision when it's not, translating to value to like the community and the collection. So in that respect, it was hard because, you do have to weather the storm and just really like give to the community your all and hope that they can trust that, on the other side, it's going to be greener. But you just have to put the work in to be able to get that sort of transparency and trust between the community as well. And now I think people coming out on that other side, people are starting to see the builders that did stick around and that did put everything on the line to stick to their ethos and not chase the shiny new thing, and not give in to certain hype, short-term sort of activations, for instance. So I mean, I think now people can look back and respect that we didn't sort of cave in and give in to those sorts of things when a lot of people did. So it's just one of those things. Like with anything, you have to weather the storm and just be very open and communicative with the community. And for us, we just, although we knew that in the short term that perhaps some of the things that we were placing a lot of time and effort on building, which was like the foundations of the brand and the content and those sort of early steps to get into where we are now, people probably didn't have a lot of confidence. But I think there was always a strong core that did, and it's just continually grown over the past couple of years now. So just to stick to your guns, I guess, is the sort of key sort of take from that period.
Just Riffin.
I had to hit you with the just riffing because you were just riffing for real. That's right, dog. Hey, Cookie, you had a second part question, and you didn't get to that second part, so go for it.
I appreciate it. And it's just a quick one. I was just curious on your thoughts of, since your Web2 audience is so huge and they're so engaged, and since this technology is so great, just it kind of has a bad rap that the word NFT and meme coins, they lend towards a, sometimes people think degen activities, when what you guys are building really isn't that. You're building like this cool little world. I don't want to say little world. You're building this cool world and this positive space for people to enjoy and interact with. And I love the mantra of here to make you smile. I think that's great. I'm here for that. We all need to smile a little bit. So I'm going to stop ripping and get to the point. I'm wondering if not only you, but if other people that are building stuff maybe could utilize these tech tools like coins, tokens, and tokenization, but really just have it be totally under the hood. Because, for instance, when somebody gets their coffee card stamped, boom, that's kind of a token in a way, but nobody's saying, oh, that's a scam, And I feel like this blockchain technology can utilize this same type of mechanic and make it fun for people who are engaged with the community, but they don't have to think of it as blockchain. And now even like Abstract Wallet, you really don't have to know about blockchain. You just kind of go there. And there's other wallets that are doing this type of tech as well. It's not so much now connect this and cross your fingers type of, transactions. So I'm just wondering your thoughts on that, on just kind of utilizing that type of tech, or if you think that's where it's heading. Or
yeah, I think it's huge. I think of course, like the tech and infrastructure that has been being built like over the past few years has definitely got a lot closer to being able to just onboard anybody. Like even with our card app, like you sign up with your email, it creates a wallet for you on the back end, and for you, you're just in a sort of web experience and you collect packs and rip them open. You don't necessarily know that they're on-chain collectibles or NFTs. So it's the way in which things are presented. And even with our blind boxes, like I think it's such an exciting thing to be able to have as like a loyalty builder and like a tool for fandom, because anybody that has collected our plush blind box series, which 3,000 of those sold out, and they'll be able to tap, get their proof of authenticity collectible, which then will allow us to know exactly who collected those, when they collected them, and allow us to reward them, because that's a living and breathing tool that they can constantly tap, and we can continually iterate on what is living in that portal and experience, whether that's new content, whether that's exclusive discounts, whether it's wallpapers or fun sort of behind the scenes content. So that is a really cool way of being able to through NFC tech and like collectibles and such. That's a really cool way for us to onboard people from our sort of social media and allow them to take their first step into this sort of environment. And they won't necessarily know it, but it's just going to be a real fun way for them to get perks and rewards for collecting. And
are they transferable? Are they tradable? Like, can people trade them? Are people actually trading them? Like, oh, I like yours. Can I trade you mine? Or or selling them on the open market? Is that a thing?
Yeah, so even like as part of that sort of plush blind box series, everybody will be able to redeem a Chimpers collectible card pack and rip that open, redeem a collectible, and those are tradable. So like people can actually trade those within our card app. So yeah, it's something that people can collect. It's something that people, it's very early, like with this first blind box release with the tech, it's going to be quite foundational, but like as we sort of build it with Jacob and 223, who's our partner on the products, there's just so much that can open up there from like a loyalty perspective when it comes to gamifying it and adding more of a collectible layer. But yeah, I personally see that the way in which people, brands in the space now are sort of trying to onboard just regular ordinary people, it's a lot more effective and a lot more easier to understand, as opposed to perhaps what the space was projecting to mainstream previously, which was very speculative and degenerate sort of products or like sort of releases. And I think it definitely works in like our sort of little circle, but yeah, to sort of get that ordinary consumer is just something that needs to be relatable and have real sort of resonance with them, that they understand. And yeah, I think we're sort of finding more and more ways to do that. I think what Rect are doing is so cool with the drinks, and again, like a similar sort of vehicle with the product and being able to bring people on chain via the QR codes, similar sort of approach. And it's all about like that, building that funnel. Like someone's not going to right off the bat buy one of the premium NFTs just because they've entered the ecosystem. There needs to be layers to it, and there needs to be just different touch points that allows them to sort of just learn more in a sort of a real sort of organic way, without having that sort of uphill battle and being put off by certain previous conceptions and notions about sort of the space. So yeah, I think the people who are finding ways for people to get on board in the space through like fun and experience and entertainment are probably going to be a lot more successful.
100%. I want to say shout out to OD. OD has been a Chimpers for a long time, since the beginning, and he actually was part of our show when we first started too. We had him come on and he would hang out with us, and we miss having OD. You got to come back on and hang out with us during our community jams, bro. But he just put up a thing here and he said just chimping. So I think that's yeah, we got to talk. Maybe we get a just riffing, just just chimping, just riffing.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, OD is a goat. He's obviously he's a a community member of Chimpers for so long. He's
Yeah.
host now, Tuesday Spaces, which is actually later this evening, and has been doing so for the past couple of years. And I know he's a Rect Maxi, he's a Chimp Maxi. So that's awesome to hear. Yeah, he's a legend.
That's right. I was looking at his rec guy, and I thought it was mine. I thought he took my PFP. I thought he copy and pasted. Just kidding,
It's a
bro.
nice
Just
one.
kidding.
It's a nice one.
Yeah. So, well, okay. We've been riffing for a while now. But so look, you came on, you spent some time with us. So greatly appreciate you taking the time out of your busy day to explain Chimpers, man. Because I knew of you guys, but I didn't know all the intricacies and all these different things that are actually attached to the project itself. And so I want to thank you first of all for your time and coming on and sharing everything. And then surprised to me that your twin brother is the artist, and so this is just makes it just that much more better in the sense, it's family, and it's the bond is strong there at the core, at the root, and then you have such a sick community. There's close to 250 people in the room right now. These are your supporters. These are your people that love you guys. So thank you everybody for tuning in. Also, thank you for joining us. We do this every Tuesday, 2 p.m. I want to know before we get out of here, though, Insight, what's one thing that you can leave everybody with that they can be hopeful for more than what they already are now, with what is going to be with the Chimpers? What is next that you haven't mentioned?
Yeah, I mean, the sort of real trajectory on the content side that we've been on has just been explosive, and the inevitable next step for us was to sort of crack that physical space and to start to be discovered in like real sort of places of meaning, and to be found within these sort of cultural spots and locations that our sort of fans will care about, and feels natural. And that's obviously started with the blind box plushies through that online release, but the next step is for us to start doubling down on that sort of in real life discovery of the brand. So that's what we've been hard at work with and sort of building towards, and will be sort of coming to fruition in the next couple of months here, leading up to like the new year. So there's quite a lot of exciting activations that we'll be ending the year with, and that will continue to proliferate Chimpers in the real world. We have some really fun collaborations upcoming as well that will continue to sort of propel us into that sort of pop culture lifestyle character brand space. And just more and more sort of milestones here that back in a year ago we was aspiring to sort of get towards. So it's going to be exciting. I think it's just been nonstop for us like the past couple of months. So much going on, but there's definitely more to come. So definitely stay tuned, and always happy to help with anybody who has questions. Always here to chat and riff, I guess, on
There you go.
Chimpers.
Hey, we're real quick. Just shout out your X handle or your Instagram so people know that may not know who Chimpers are, where they can find more information about you guys.
Yeah, so obviously you can find us on ChimpersHQ. That's our Twitter page. We're on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. That's where you'll find all of our social media content. That's Chimpers Official. Those are the key spots. Obviously myself, NFT Insight, and you can find me on Twitter. Just shoot me a DM. I'm always happy to chat, and I appreciate the time, guys.
Most definitely. Us too, man. I look forward to seeing the Chimpers. I know that they'll be soon in Walmart, Target. I just see that the kids would love these things, little keychains, and you guys have something really cool that conceptually is behind the project, and I'm all for that. And I think this is something that helps companies build and grow. And when you could get to the youth, they're going to eat it up. And the parents want something cool for them rather than getting into drugs. So Chimpers, big ups.
Chimpers better than drugs.
That's a great
Yes, sir.
tagline.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
All right, Insight. Thank you so much for your time, man. We will see you soon. Thank you again, bro.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Bye.
Man, awesome. I'm so happy that we were able to get Insight on the show. Thank you again to Tyler Dirtith for making that connection. And definitely, Insight, I know you're still in the green room, so we're going to definitely stay in touch. And thank you again for hanging out with us. Cookie, this has been an awesome show. I want to thank everybody also for tuning in. I hope you guys, no pun intended, but got some insight on the Chimpers. And, you can see and hear and actually, feel that passion that Insight was talking about, that him and his brother and the community itself has. These guys are real builders. There's a lot of people that are fake actors in our space, in our crypto Twitter space, and just our space in general of Web3 and NFTs. But I truly do believe, just like anything else, it takes a little bit of time for the rest of the world to kind of hear and get that affirmation. I think once, major companies and major brands join the Web3 party and the NFT party and the everything else that is blockchain related, then I think that's the affirmation that the actual real rest of the public is gonna need, to jump in and for them to say, yeah, it's okay. This is not a ripoff. It's not a scam. And eventually, we're gonna get rid of some of those bad actors. There's gonna be bad actors no matter what. There's bad actors in our society today without the blockchain. So it just is what it is. Cookie, what's your thoughts? What's your sentiments before we get out of here on Chimpers?
I love their vibe. I think super cool, man. You can just smell the genuineness is not the right word, but just a cool dude. And not only that, I just want to say that their website too. He didn't mention it, but check out their website. It really breaks everything down, and it looks awesome. It's so well put together, and it's so easy to see what they're about from that. So please check out chimpers.com. And I think he also said they do a space every Tuesday. So I'm not sure when that is.
That's right. Yeah, OD. He said OD hosts it. And so I'm not sure, he didn't say what time, but OD is in the chat. OD, if you want to jump in real quick and tell me what time your show is on, for the Chimpers thing, we'll pop it up here. Also, yeah, check this out, chimpers.com. And I believe it was ChimpersHQ on X. So yeah, make sure you give them a follow. Make sure you check them out. Also give us a follow at Just Riffin. We're there too. We do this every Tuesday in the afternoon, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We are powered by Rug Radio, the whole Myriad Market fam, Decrypt, Destan. I'm looking forward, dude. Our house is going to be insane. I have some, I don't have any inside alpha, but I have an inclination that the Myriad token is going to be announced, if not released, around our Basel. I just think it makes sense.
You got a good feeling about that? Are you going to be like during that? Are you going to be like in the bathroom when they launch it, and you're going to be like, dump? No, I'm just kidding.
No pun intended. In the bathroom dump. I got you.
Now we're holding to 20 Billy, right?
Yeah. And if you don't know about Myriad Markets, go to myriad.markets. It's the best prediction market on the planet, in my opinion, and it's only going to get better. They have a Myriad protocol. If you're interested in building your own prediction market, you can build on top of Myriad Markets or Myriad protocol. So hold on.
Can I mention something on the Myriad thing real quick?
Real quick. The Chimper show is 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So in 2 hours, hour and 45 minutes, you can check out OD, and Chimpers has their own stream that they do every Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you're around and you got time, go check them out for sure. Go ahead, Cookie.
Awesome. I just wanted to mention real quick, because I saw it earlier and I did vote, but if there's any Myriad people in here, there's a vote going on for Poly Markets, and it's at JokeRace, JokeRace.io. And I think there's like an hour left on it, but it's between Myriad Markets, and to tell you the truth, I don't even know the other company. Wait, it's Sapiens. So there's a vote going on, and you can vote. So check it out, and we're just supporting the home team here. You know,
that's right. Support the home team. Vote Myriad. They were on. They just were on Myriad Loxley, and I caught the tail end of it. And Farouk, because I saw you were in there. I had no idea because I'm getting ready for the show. And those guys were on there. They were like Farouk and the other company that you just mentioned. I don't even know who they are. And I didn't even realize that there's so many, that there's others, that are around. But yeah, just if you're going to support anybody, support the real builders. I know people want to try and make a quick come up, but the long run is really the way to go, especially when there's companies that are building. Just think about it. Imagine if you invested into Facebook when it was $25 a share. Imagine if you got into, Microsoft when it was $35, $23 a share. Same with any of these companies that have been around for a long time that are continuously building. So yeah, just keep that in mind, and also do your own research. None of this stuff that we talk about on our show is financial advice. We just like things, and we love talking to people in the music industry. We love talking to people that are building in the NFT community. We love people that are building on Web3, blockchain, artists. It doesn't matter. If you have something interesting and we can bring it to light, it's our pleasure to do that. I got to interview Cookie, because Cookie has an album project that's coming out, and I definitely want to interview him. I want to put him through the ringer, and I want to get him all nervous and stuff. So, but I'm not going to tell you when, Cookie. I'm just going to be like, hey, you're our guest today.
Make sure you let my mom know, because she'll make sure not to watch the show that day.
I'm texting your mom after the show today, and we're going to work on a date. I know she's your manager. Okay. So with that being said, thank you everybody for tuning in. Thank you so much. Again, we do this every Tuesday. I'm going to pop this up here real quick. We do it every Tuesday. We are powered by Rug Radio. You guys know who that is. If you don't know who that is, or who they are, who that is. Oh, it's a long show. If you don't know who Rug Radio is, then please go check them out. It's at Rug Radio on Twitter, and then check out Myriad Markets as well. You will not be disappointed. Have some fun and just enjoy life. That's what it is. Everybody be safe out there, and hopefully we'll see you all at our house in Miami. And if you see us, more than likely you're going to recognize us more than we recognize you, because we don't see you. Don't be afraid to say hello. We're real people, man. We'll have a drink. We'll toast. Cheers. Cookie.
Get a pizza.
We'll get some pizza at Steve's.
Steve's.
You know what I'm saying? The original. All right, everybody. Have a great day. And we'll see you next Tuesday when our special guest is Benji from the Hook Music app. Go check out the Hook Music app. All right. We'll see you guys soon. Take care and brush your hair. Goodbye, everybody.
Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in.
Just Riffin. Tuesday afternoon at 2 p.m. That's EST. Just Riffin. Special guest and tech and talk. A musicology. Just Riffin. Coming to you live at the same time. Here every week. Just Riffin. Jump in the room. Let's chop it up. It really ain't that deep. Just Riffin.